Now, the King Hala is one of the most important and the favorite topic of UPSC preliminary examination. Okay, so the Hala King Hala is also mentioned in Matsya Purana. Okay, and the Matsya Purana says that he was the 17th ruler. Okay, he was the 17th ruler of Satavahana Dynasty, and he majorly focused on a revival of Brahmanism. Okay, beyond that, he also compiled the Gatha Saptashati. Okay, so what is Gatha Saptashati? Gatha Saptashati is a collection of the poems, okay, which are written in the Prakrit as well as Sanskrit language, but majorly the Prakrit. Okay, after that, there is also a talk around the Gunadhya. Now, who is the Gunadhya? He is a scholar in the court of King Hala. Now, he also composed the Brihatkatha. Okay, he also composed the Brihatkatha in his court. Now, what does this Brihatkatha talks about? Brihatkatha talks about the major achievements of the King Hala. How did King Hala revived his economy? How did King Hala, evolved through the economical situations? How he evolved through the trade relations with the Roman Empire. Okay, so Brihat Katha also depicts the social condition during this period. Okay, how did the kings majorly focused on the society, what policies and the programs did they implemented. Okay, so Gunadhya, just try to remember the name of the scholar. Okay, Gunadhya, okay, composed the Brihat Katha. Okay, now Gunadhya was a scholar in his court. Now many of the scholars are being asked by UPSC preliminary examination. For example, it's Birbal, for example, it's Kalidas. Okay, so many of them have been asked. So there are high chances you need to note about the major rulers and their court scholars. Okay, after that, you will have the most favorite ruler of the Satavahanas, and that is Gautamiputra Satakarni. So there are many movies on this Gautamiputra Satakarni also. If you get time, you can even watch in the South Indian language. It has been, depicted how was the history during that time. Okay, so here he is being depicted as Eka Brahman in Nasik inscription. Okay, so what is Eka Brahman? Eka Brahman means Sarvashreshta Brahman. Okay, and in fact, it is being depicted that he used to have, somewhat what we call it as ichha. Okay, he used to wish that he uh, should be Kshatriya. Okay, wish that he should be Kshatriya. Why? Because according to the Gautamiputra Satakarni, Kshatriya was more powerful than of the Brahmin king. Okay, that is why he always prayed that agle janam mein mohe Kshatriya kijo. Like similarly what we have in present day, agle janam mein mohe bitiya na kijo, right? So in that similar way, the Gautamiputra Satakarni always prayed that in the next birth, please make me Kshatriya. Now you will ask, ma'am, why it is then he is described as the Eka Brahman in Nasik. So this Eka Brahman was a title given by his own mother. Okay, it was a title given by his mother and not by him. Okay, so it was given by the mother, that the mother says that he is one of the best ruler and he is one of the best Brahmin ruler which can be. Okay, so of course everyone's mother is proud of their own children. Okay, so in the similar way, Gautamiputra Satakarni was the mother of the Gautamiputra Satakarni. Okay, so the Gautami was her name, Gautami Balashri. Okay, Gautami Balashri was her name. Gautami Balashri was her name. Okay, and Satakarni was the ruler's name. Okay, so Gautamiputra Satakarni. Okay, Putra means son. Gautami's Putra. Gautami's son, Satakarni. So this is second Satakarni. Okay, do not get confused in the Satakarni 1 and Satakarni 2. between this both of the Satkarni there is a Hala king. Okay, so here the title of Kshatriya Darpa Mardana was given to Gautamiputra Satakarni. Now, why it was given? Because he was a very tough ruler who expanded his empire at the Beneath. Okay, so here he is. Now, what is meant by the Kshatriya Ardapa Mardana? Destroyer of the pride of Kshatriyas in the Nasik inscription. Again, in the Nasik inscription, he is being called as a destroyer of the pride of Kshatriyas. Now, why he is being called as a destroyer of the Kshatriya pride? Because you see, he had fought with the Rudradaman one, okay, one of the western Kshatraps. Okay, so yes, of course, he was a winner during that time. Okay, he was also known as the destroyer of Sakas, Pahlavas, and Yavanas. Okay, so Pahlavas are different and Pallavas are different. Please do not mix this. Pallavas would be later, Pahlavas would be at the earlier stage. Okay, so Sakas we know, okay, from the western frontiers. Sakas, Pahlavas, and Yavanas. Okay, so these were the central regions as well as the western region. So here he would be conquering all these people and would be expanding the western region. Okay, western and the northwestern region of the Satavahanas. Okay, so here at the Gautamiputra Satakarni's reign, the Satavahanas would be getting more expanded. After that, he also patronized Brahmanism, okay, but he also donated the land to the Buddhist monks. So here you will see that the cave architecture during the Gautamiputra Satakarni would be at peak. Okay, why? Because rock cut architecture developed. In fact, the coinage system was also at the peak. Okay, now you will see many of the evidences of the coins. Okay, especially the coins that were related to the trade relations. Okay, now here the inscription also mentions the grant of the villages to the Buddhist monks. Okay, now here during the Gupta period, we'll see that the lands were being granted to the Brahmin people. Okay, we have seen that. But in Satavahanas, it was completely different. Of course, the land was being granted to the Brahmins during the Satavahanas, but it was tax free. Okay, but during the Guptas, it was not tax free. Okay, so there is somewhat difference between both of them. Okay, so here the land would be granted, also granted to the Buddhist monks, but during the Gupta period, you will see that the Buddhists were thrown out very badly. Okay, after that, according to the Junagadh inscription, Rudradaman won. Okay, he was defeated by the Kardamaka ruler. Okay, the western Kshatrap dynasty. Okay, and that is why Gautamiputra Satakarni was world famous. Okay, especially the Roman theory also tells us how rich his administration was: revenue administration, political administration, any kind of administration. Okay, he was a great disciple of the Hindu culture also and the Buddhist culture also. So here after that you will see the coinage system began to be developed at a higher pace. After that it was Vashishta Putra, again the matrilineal. Okay, Vashishta Putra, the name of the mother is Vashishta. Okay, so the Vashishta Putra Pulayami. Okay, so the Vashishta Putra Pulayami, okay,